Hey guys, so I've been looking for a spindle sander for quite some time now, and just for doing some little like woodworking projects around the shop here. And I started to do some research about it. Started to find that you can spend very little money and a lot of money. Um, I was looking kind of more on the lower end because, I like to save a few bucks on things. So started looking at reviews on a lot of items, like all your kind of regulars and then some higher end items. And I came across one item in particular that seemed to have the most amount of options for the least amount of money. And then reading reviews on it, it actually had quite a few really good reviews. And it covered more ground than most of the other options for less money. So that's what we're going to look at today, and that is the WEN belt and spindle sander. So we're going to do an unboxing on this, do a review, just like kind of like a startup and operating review, and then maybe after like a year's use, we will maybe do a follow-up review and see how it held up. So stay tuned, let's get this thing open. All right, so opening it up. Manual. Looks like we've got our spindles here. We've got a large, medium, and then two smaller ones. All the spindle belts are here. I think these are 80 grits for the spindle. And then this is the belt sander assembly. Looks to be like a 24-inch or 18-inch maybe, 24 most likely. And also the actual belt sanding, I guess the drum, so. Some hardware. Looks like the collets for the spindles. A little bit more hardware all individually packaged. It's pretty well packaged, right? Look at that. Alright, lift her out. Quite light. Cover plate. Plastic, for what it is. Okay, so first look at it here. Seems okay. It's got kind of a metal top, not very heavy gauge or anything, but at least it's metal. I was a little worried it was going to be plastic. When it comes to storage, right off the bat, I like what it's got. Built-in storage for your accessories and stuff like that is a huge plus, especially when it comes to like machines like this. What I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more is some sort of like storage clip or something that makes these a little bit harder to come out. They just kind of sit in there, and they sit in, like this one doesn't even have sandpaper on it yet, and it's pretty much tight. I don't know what the other one is like yet. Let's try it out. That sits in there pretty tight as well. So without even paper on them, these are actually going to sit even out a little bit further. Would have nice to have seen some like clip, or these be a little bit bigger so that they actually were able to sit down. But again, I like the fact that you can actually store your items there for your spindles. Back to the top, decent metal top. Looks like it's got a stop here for the when you have the belt sander on, so you can actually push material up against it here and it won't run away on you. The adjustment. Looks pretty good. Not really high tech or anything like that, but just loosen each side like so. And this could be a little bit better. This looks like all you have to do is get your finger in there and press down on this little lever here. Try and get that better for you. There's a little lever right here. This you just have to press down with your finger until it'll move. And then it's got little detents there for 10 degrees. Get it down again there, 22.5, 30, and 45. But once it's in there, like you can lift it out of your slots pretty easy. Getting it down into the slots isn't too bad. Once it's in there, tighten them up. That's actually really sturdy and there's almost no play, which is actually pretty nice. Loosen that up again, straighten her up. I'll check that for true here in a second. Turning it around here. Got a dust collection port that I think is somewhat universal for most like shop vacs and stuff like that. Again, storage on the back side here for your belt assembly. That looks like it'll just kind of sit in there like sort of, or if I pull that out of the bag. Oh, that could sit in there a little better. It's not terrible, but it could sit in there better. Not too bad. Cord storage, don't really see any. I think you could just wrap it around, whatever. Underside, I got some rubber legs there. We'll see what it's like when we use them, if it kind of vibrates around and stuff like that. We got a reset button, not too bad. Go down to the specs here. Let's take a look at those. Okay, we got motor speed, or motor is a 120 volt, 60 hertz, 3.5 amps. The motor speed is 11,500 RPM. Belt is a 4x24. Belt speed 1575 feet per minute. Okay, we got 1/2 inch sleeves, 3/4 sleeve, 1 inch, 1.5, and 2 inch. 4.5 inch drum. Spindle speed is 2,000 RPM. That's pretty good. Oscillations per minute, so up and down. Every time it goes up and down, it does 58 a minute. Stroke length is 5/8, so that's not too bad. I think that is okay. And again, this is the WEN, sorry, I never said it right off the bat. WEN model 6524. Down to the other thing here. Got a safety switch. You're on, off. And if you don't want like people to screw around with it or kids or something, you can pull the key out. This deactivates the switch. You can't turn it on. This is a safety switch, so not too bad. Let's I'll put it together here and kind of see how it is to put together. All right, so I changed out to the belt sanding attachment, and it was actually pretty simple. This thing, you just took all the drum sanding stuff off, put it out, and then this just slid right over top. There was a little, kind of like a little alignment piece back here. It slid right down in there. You just have to make sure that these teeth on the shaft kind of align with like this washer down below, and then you just tighten this up. That's it. Turn it on, and then all you had to do is just kind of adjust your tracking knob here to get your sandpaper to make sure that it doesn't come up above the table before it's done. Pretty simple. I'll do a quick little time lapse of just changing out a spindle here and show you how that works. So that was the initial setup there. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Yeah, plastic parts. What do you really expect for not spending like $900 to $1,000 on something like this? But pretty easy to operate, pretty easy to use, very easy to change out. It looks like, these parts, you should be able to reorder them if you lose them or whatever. There's lots of little storage for them. Pretty impressed with how easy that kind of went. So we'll go through a little bit of sanding and stuff like that, and I'll give you guys a little report on what I think of how it works. All right, so I played with this thing for a couple hours last night, just sanding some 2x4s and some other stock. Took it apart, did some changing of things, and tried it on the spindle, tried it on the belt, did some adjustments and stuff like that. Checked it out, and I got my final score. So how I do my scoring is it's out of a possible 20 points and 4 categories. Each category with a possibility of getting 5 points. 0 being triumphant waste of money turd, and 5 being the best thing ever made. So I will go over how I scored this and give you what I think. All right, so first category is build quality. Build quality, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 just because there is far too much plastic. Some very important parts are metal, but also some important parts aren't. I would have liked to have seen this metal. Some of the housing stuff I would have liked to have seen metal. Switch I would have liked to. This is a really important one that I think should have been. This is like a main drive, kind of like washer. There's some slots in here that accept the teeth for the belt. I just think that is, I don't know, it should have been metal. I think that should have been 2. 2.5 out of 5 for build quality. Design wise, I think it's pretty good design. Lots of storage. Any part that comes with it has a place to go. I thought that was a really good feature. Things are easy to change, like changing out just from the belt to the spindle, super easy. I have no complaints on that point. The tracking works good. The belt change works good. Yeah, I thought that was really good. It's quite light, which is good and bad. If it's light, it's easier to move around, but if it's light, it also can vibrate around on you when it's in normal operation. You can fasten it down through these holes here, but yeah, I don't know. Design wise, 3.5 out of 5. Operation, it's not overly noisy. I wouldn't expect it to be a heck of a lot quieter for what it is. I've used some pretty expensive machines before and they're very quiet, and this is, significantly noisier, but nothing crazy for like a wood shop or nothing like that. I think it could have been a little more powerful too. I think they could have squeezed a little more power out of there. And again, like the operation, the changing out the belt to the spindle thing is really good. Bang for your buck, I give it a 4 out of 5 because of how versatile it is. You get 2 sanders in one. If you look at buying 2 machines, you're anywhere from $400 to $500 or $400 to $900 Canadian. This, you get it all for around $350 on Amazon. I thought that was a pretty good deal, so can't go wrong. All right, guys. Well, that was my review of the WEN belt and spindle sander, model number 6524. If you have this sander and have put it through the test and you like it or don't like it or have had issues with it, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tune into one of our next videos. Thanks. Take it easy.